Hey folks, Grant over here at Local Coolin Farms. I don't know if y'all saw that bird fly away. That was an orchard Oriole. We've had them now for 3 years, but we had not had them, for the first 5 years that we were out here. And then one reason why I think that we have them, and I'll kind of go over this with you real quick. I'm standing outside the paddock. I'm right on the other side, the high tensile hot fence. I'm outside the perimeter fence. But anyway, so this is one of our paddocks. This is paddock number 1. It's about 4 or 5 acres. And we just finished bush hogging that end of it over there. We'd already bush hogged this section. So, but we're allowing these hedgerows to grow up. So you can see how I mowed on the inside of the fence, so we have access to the perimeter. And then I mowed the center core of the field. And so, but I left this strip. So the strip starts there, goes down this way, and it goes all the way down the field. And then on the other end, the hedgerow is on the other side of the fence. And then along here, the hedgerow is also on the other side of the fence, if that makes sense. So every paddock is surrounded either internally or externally by a hedgerow strip. That's in different states of plant succession. So this hedgerow here, the tallest thing is the goldenrod, and then like over there, that is a big blackberry patch over there. Pros and cons to that. Pros, we get blackberries out of it. Cons, it can get, the animals can get up in it. And it's a potential site for blackleg and a couple of other things, different times of the year. Pros and cons of doing something like that. But anyway, so when I say it's a natural succession, or it's in a different state of succession, it's grasses, forbs, small trees, small shrubs, and then bigger trees. So this strip, because it's in a grassy, succession state. Then you look over here, you've got a water oak growing up over here. You got pine, you got sweet gum, you've got willow back over there. And so that's in a higher state of succession because it's taller stuff. So it's going to go grasses, small shrubs and trees, saplings, all the way up to, bigger trees like over there. And so the goal for us is to keep the hedgerow in a sapling, small tree, shrub succession state, because we want the stuff tall enough to provide shade, but we also want the goats to be able to go and browse on it, as well as white-tailed deer and other stuff. And so this section, we want more saplings to be coming up in this area. And that will happen over time. We will go and plant and do some other things over the next couple of years that we got plans to do. But this right now is plenty of habitat for cover and concealment for quail, rabbits, other ground nesting birds. It's bedding for deer. It's different things like that. So we can actually, be able to utilize our farm for some recreational, deer and rabbit hunting and things like that during the season. And so there's multiple facets, multiple reasons why we want to do it. It's a cooling off place for the livestock. They love to bed down in here. And so there's a lot of reasons on why we're doing this, and then leaving that core field for grazing, because we want to keep the core part of the paddock, the majority of the paddock, in a grassy stage of succession, because that's what the cattle and the goats really do get a lot of nutrients from. And so the core of the paddocks are going to be in a grass succession, and then we're going to do that through strategic grazing and then strategic mowing. We'll also, like we're about to do today and next 2 days, because we're going to start getting some rain next week. We're actually going to start seeding out some beans and sorghum. We're just going to overseed it as an integrated warm season cover crop. So we're going to be doing those things in the center of the paddock. And so anyways, I hope this makes sense. So we've got these complicated paddock systems that we're developing, that they're complicated because we're going by the things that we observe in nature. So like biological edge effect, biological natural succession. So edge effect, succession effect. How does it benefit biodiversity and ecosystem building at the farm? How does it benefit the livestock at a farm? So it's not a complicated. It's complicated, but it's not complicated to do. It's a little weird, and so when our neighbors see this, they want this whole field to be mowed. Fence line to fence line. They want it mowed on the other side of the fence line. They want it mowed. It wants to look like, like we've got a fancy places, with white fences and horses. That's really just not like what we're into. We're into the biodiversity, nature building of the farm. And so this is just a little window into what we're doing here with organizing our paddocks. I think hedgerows are highly underutilized, for the most part, not used in the U.S. And it's a shame, because you're not taking away production from your farm, because there's still grazing plants in here. It could be argued that a lot of these forbs and stuff that are allowed to grow in here have medicinal, phytochemical medicinal properties to it that the animals know. So they can come in here and they can kind of like self-medicate with different plants. So there's things in here that are beneficial that we just don't even know or don't even understand. And so that's what we're up to. That's why I encourage people to factor in hedgerows, natural plant succession, natural edge effect into every one of their paddocks. You can have which I love as well, that savanna look, the silvopasture savanna look, the bigger mature trees directly underneath grass. I want that too. And so, but I also want the hedgerows, the thick brambly hedgerows. And so, if I had my ideal, it would be kind of like the chewy center of every paddock would be a savanna grassland silvopasture ecosystem. And then on the outside perimeter of the paddocks, it would be the early succession hedgerows to provide cover and concealment for all the small critters. And so then we can have the savanna-like ecosystem for the grazing animals, and then we can have the thick brambly areas for all the small critters like the rabbits and everything else, and the ground nesting birds and the quail and so on and so forth. So, all right, well, I hope y'all enjoyed that rant on what we're doing here with our paddocks. If y'all have any comments or questions, feel free to reach out.